Hello and welcome to day 66 of the 100 Days Challenge. Today I continued from where I left yesterday. That were those two dialogues when the player wins or loses. So I just enhanced the UI of those dialogues so that it makes look better. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the 6 subscribers. So there's been 5 people other than me who have subscribed to this channel, so I really appreciate it, and this gives me energy to continue with this challenge that I still have 35 days remaining. And yeah, having said that, thank you, and let's jump into what I did today. So basically I replaced the 2 color rect that I had for texture rect because I built an image using some Photopea, and here I just used this image as a background instead of having this bluish or reddish background color. So on top of that, I just also added some stylings in the vertical box container. I just added this spacer. I just used a control with some minimum Y value, so this makes that it adds this spacing in the middle. And then for the buttons, I just played with different things. I played with the colors and the fonts colors, also some outlines, played with the size, and then I added the style box flat with the different values here. You can see that I added some border, then the borders have also some corner radius, then some shadows, and with that it makes this glowing effect, and this looks better, at least from my end. The same happens with the back to menu, and the same way I have this loose menu. So this is the win and this is the lose. So I know that I could create some reusable styles here and save them and everything, but I just prefer to have them manually created in each of the buttons, and then in the future, if it's needed, I would create some reusable things for this part. Also, something I realized today is that when I did yesterday about adding the colors to now it no longer applies because I don't have the rect button or the rect, how it's called, rect, color rect. But if I create here a color rect, what I did yesterday was adding here on the right, within the visibility, I use the self-modulate and I explain the difference between self-modulate and modulate. What I realized is that I didn't need to do any of those because there's a color property that actually changes the color. So this is what I initially did today, but then I just replaced the color by the texture ones. So on top of that, I also fixed a couple of things I mentioned yesterday that were when the user finished the game, the joystick was still working. So in addition to just stop or hide the joystick, I also am using a new property that it's called, let me see what it is, here, reset. So this way I ensure there's no movement being done, because this is the add-on I created initially, and here I saw that there was this reset function that actually helps and sets the default things for everything. And also within the default, the next level and try again button, where I did it's played with the pause. So whenever the level finishes here in the bottom, when if it's a game over or if the exit is reached, I pause the game in the get tree, and when I do that, some things, I'm seeing here that I did it 2 times. No, yeah, here one and here the other. So when you do that, it means that all the different nodes stop getting attention. So here you need to put on the process side the mode to always work. So by default it's inherit. If it's inherit, when you pause the game, you cannot interact with that. So the buttons of continue or the back button do not work. Instead, I had to use the both menus and put as always in the process mode, and it would still work, but the player would not be able to move because all the other nodes would be paused. So here I pause them and hide the joystick, and then within each of the menus or the buttons, once they are clicked, I go back to the post being false, then I reconnect again to this same function. This happens because of this flag. So if you go to the connect documentation, you can see that the second parameter is a flag, and here there are the connect flags. So this is a connect one shot, so it means that whenever it's one connected, then it disconnects themselves after this emission. So I do it that way to avoid having orphan connections or signals, but I want to reconnect whenever it presses, because when you try again, you may want to play again. And the same happens for next level, that you need to reconnect. This will not happen for the back button, because in the back button you don't recreate it later, because you go back and then you will restart or regenerate the next scene. But in the other cases where you keep in the same scene but just reset some things, then you need to reconnect. That this is an issue I had. And then with this approach, you can get to the very first node in your scene. So here, since I am on the main scene, it gets to the main, and the main is where I have the level script, and there is where I can change the level number in case that it's improving, in case that it's passing a next level, and then click on restart game. This restart game, what it does is what I said before, that it just ensures here on the top that the joystick is reset and that the maze builder gets notified about notification ready. This way we can ensure the maze is regenerated, either if it's just because you want to place the player again in its position, or because you need to regenerate the second or the next level maze, and then it plays the start game. That is this method that does all the things. With that in mind, it still does not work perfectly, but you can see that if I play it, I just get this, both are done, but I go to the one, here I can move, I have this new UI, I would add some kind of animations, but if I click on next level, you can see that it has generated the next level. However, what I saw is that here I don't have the countdown timer here, so it's like it does not work fine, because here I think at some point I should have, I can cross the whole map, and at any moment it actually detects the wind. So yeah, for some reason it still does not work fine at all. But yeah, other things, if it fails, just let me put it takes 1 second for the level. It's faster to test. So if I don't do anything in the one, just 1 second, it fails, it has the you lost, then I try again, 1, 0, and I have again the timer. So somehow it works. Here, maybe just give me 5 seconds to make me able to move a bit. But if with the try again it works, but with the new one it doesn't. So you can see here I just went to the wrong direction, I try again, it moved me back to the initial position, and the counter works. So for some reason some of it works, but not the other one when I skip the level. This is something I would need to look, but not today, and tomorrow if I have the chance. And that's all for today. Again, thank you for the people who subscribed and who supports this journey, and if you didn't do it yet, please, I'll really appreciate that. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.